Welcome to the Solo Edit Podcast, a podcast for estheticians looking for a weekly dose of motivation, inspiration, and honest conversations about life in and out of the treatment room. As many of you know, up until 2023, I was a solo esthetician just like many of you. I built my business by niching into professional Korean skincare, which, if you don't know my story, was inspired by my time living in South Korea over a decade ago. Niching, no doubt, allowed me to grow my business, but the real story is that growth wasn't about the products. It was about building my business based on the framework I'm going to share with you today. Almost 3 years ago, I sold my spa. I stepped out of the treatment room completely because I discovered what I loved most, which was Korean skincare and helping estheticians build businesses they truly love. Today, through Kinesthetics, I get to do both of those things. So my story is proof that when you lead with passion and protect your vision and build community, you can create something that not only supports your life, but also inspires others. With that being said, today's podcast is about you, not about me. So let's dive into the framework that I've lived by, the principles that have been the most important in helping me grow my business that you can apply to yours too. It does not matter if you are a solo esthetician, if you have stepped out of the treatment room and you have a team, if you're in product development, this framework will work for you, I promise. The first is to follow your passion and not just the money. Of course, we all want to make money. It's not a hobby, it's a business, and financial success does matter. But if the profit is your only motivation, you are going to burn out quickly, I promise you. Business comes with inevitable ups and downs, and when the challenges hit, money alone is not enough to keep you going. Passion, on the other hand, that's fuel. When you love what you do, you'll naturally push through the hard seasons. You'll have the drive to keep learning, refining, and finding new ways to serve your customers. Passion is what inspires you to stay curious and to innovate and to keep showing up even when things get difficult. The irony is, when you are truly passionate about your work, the money just tends to follow because people can feel it. Your customers will sense your authenticity, your excitement, and your genuine belief in what you have to offer. Passion makes you resilient, and resilience is what will help build a long-lasting business. The second is working on your business and not just in it. If you spend all of your energy just working in your business, like doing tasks, handling every detail, you're going to miss the bigger picture of working on your business. When I talk about working on your business, I mean stepping out of the daily grind and investing time in the activities that create growth, sustainability, and freedom. It definitely requires a shift in perspective, but when you step back, you'll open yourself up to new opportunities, like investing in coaching, seeking out activities that support your vision, observing how other businesses operate, reading books to spark ideas, and listening to podcasts, just to name a few. In that process, you will not just learn new strategies, you'll also start to build trust in yourself as a business owner. All right, number 3, define your ideal customer. This is so important. You want to take time to clearly define your ideal customer and how to reach them. This is going beyond the basic demographics like age and gender. You really want to understand their habits and preferences and values. Once you know who you're speaking to, you can design your offer that will truly resonate with them, one that feels like it was made for their needs and not yours. Always make that offer about them and not about you. Ask yourself, what do my customers actually care about, and how can I support them in a genuine and authentic way? For example, when I had my skincare studio, my ideal customer were women who cared about how they felt, what they looked like, and had expendable income. Beyond that, they were also women who deeply cared about community and supporting local. Number 4, stay true to your vision. It can be really tempting to say yes to every opportunity, especially when you're eager to grow or feeling pressure to bring in revenue. But don't get pulled into partnerships out of desperation. If you don't know about my partnership experience, it's one of the earlier podcast episodes. I don't recommend partnerships. Aside from formal business partnerships, also be wary of collaborations you choose to do with other businesses, events, or even influencers. Because the truth is, who you align with matters. Their reputation, how they run their business, and how they treat their customers will ultimately always reflect back on you. If they cut corners, if their values don't line up, your customers are going to notice, and it will erode the trust you've worked so hard to build. So protect your brand at all costs. Your vision and values are what make you unique, and they're the foundation of the business you're building. Far better to grow slower while staying true to your mission than to chase quick wins that could compromise your credibility. Moving on to number 5, know your KPIs. Get clear on the most important KPIs, which are your key performance indicators. These will look different for everyone, but they're non-negotiable if you want to grow and scale. Think of the KPIs as the dashboard of your business. They tell you what's working, what's not, and where to focus your energy. For you, this might look like tracking your booking rate, client retention, average ticket value, retail sales, rebooking percentages, or how many referrals you've been receiving. Honestly, it's endless. The exact numbers that you track will obviously just depend on your goals, and as you evolve, your KPIs will evolve as well. I know that for a lot of people, numbers can feel boring or even intimidating. With a math disability, I definitely fall under both of those categories, but they are truly the truth tellers in your business. You can feel busy, but the data will show whether your business is actually healthy. Paying attention to KPIs gives you clarity and confidence and insight into what you need to adjust and double down on, or even just let go of. So in other words, your KPIs become almost like your guiding light. They'll keep you from guessing and instead help you make smart, informed decisions. Number 6 is focus on the culture of your business. Culture shows up in 2 ways, externally with your customers and internally with your team. Externally, culture is expressed through what you share and how you communicate, and the values that are evident in your brand. It's what creates a sense of community around your business, and community, in my opinion, is not optional. Every business needs one. Why? Because your community will be the ones spreading the word about you, standing by your side during those slower summer months, and rooting for you when times are just tough in general. When people feel invested in you and what you stand for, they don't just buy your services or treatments, they're championing your brand. Internally, if you grow into a team, culture is everything. Your business will only ever be as strong as the people behind it. Protect your culture at all costs. Define your company's values, clarify your mission, and then make sure that you lead by example and live it out daily. Treat your team with respect and humanity. Remember that they are people with real lives beyond your business. Obviously, hold high expectations, but also know that when your team feels cared for and aligned with your vision, they're naturally going to want to see your business thrive. Of course, not every hire is going to work out. We all make hiring mistakes, myself included. Don't let a few bad experiences stop you from trying again. Learn from those experiences, protect your standards, and continue to build the kind of culture that reflects your vision and values. Moving on to number 7, forget your competition. I could shout this from the rooftops. Yes, it is wise to stay aware of industry trends and evolving technologies, but obsessing over what others are doing will only distract you. When you spend too much time watching your competition, you risk losing sight of what makes you unique. Instead, focus on your own lane, your vision, your values, and your customers that you're there to serve. Because the truth is, no one can replicate your exact blend of skill, personality, and perspective. That is your competitive edge. Competition can also lead to comparison. And comparison, my friend, is just a trap. It can make you question yourself, chase someone else's strategy or dream, or dilute your brand by trying to copy what doesn't fit into your business. Growth comes from doubling down on your strengths, not from mirroring someone else's. So yes, stay informed, but let your energy go towards innovation, creativity, and the unique story that you bring to the table, because that's what your customers will connect with. Number 8 is recognizing your deficits and make peace with them. None of us are perfect and none of us are good at everything, and that is okay. The key is to identify the areas where you struggle and find people who can fill those gaps. If you're not sure what to outsource first, start by looking at what drains the most time and energy from you. Usually it's things you don't enjoy or things that you're not particularly great at. Bringing in help, whether it's a contractor or employee, can help you focus on the parts of the business that only you can do. I know hiring can feel scary, especially if you don't feel like you have enough money, but anyone you bring on should be an asset and not an expense. The right hire should ultimately make you money by allowing the business to expand, operate more efficiently, and serve more clients. Again, I know it can feel scary when cash flow is tight, but in my experience, every thoughtful hire has eventually created growth. And remember, if someone is draining your business instead of helping it thrive, you cannot afford to hold on. Be slow and intentional in your hiring, but quick and decisive in letting go when it's just not the right fit. Protect your business, protect your culture, and don't let fear keep you stuck with the wrong people. Number 9 is always lead with a customer service mindset. When the business is yours, it's natural and easy to feel hurt or offended by difficult customers, but remember, you always have a choice in how you respond. One negative interaction doesn't have to mean losing a client. You can either react defensively and push them away, or you can listen with patience, acknowledge their concerns, and do your best to make it right. Most frustrated customers just simply want to feel heard. When you handle situations with grace, you not only have the chance to win them back, but you may also turn them into loyal advocates who tell others about your positive experience. In other words, making the customer the hero, even when it feels uncomfortable, can ultimately lead to more trust, more referrals, and more revenue. So sometimes swallowing your pride is the cost of long-term growth. With that being said, boundaries are definitely important. I don't think we need to dive into what those look like because they're going to be different from everybody. But I just think it's really important to remember that we are in the service industry, and so there will always be difficult clients, and some, yes, we'll have to say goodbye to, but others, it's important to listen and listen to constructive feedback so that we can improve. And I think that that is something that is not talked enough about in this industry. All right, the last one is never give up. I know, sounds cliche, but building a business is full of roadblocks, setbacks, and disappointments. Nobody escapes that. That is for every single business owner. And the truth is, success rarely happens overnight. The people who succeed are not always the most talented. They're the ones that kept going when times got hard. Remember that failure is not final, it's feedback and it's a lesson. Every mistake, every misstep is an opportunity to learn and refine. If you can reframe failure as a lesson instead of an ending, you will keep moving forward. And persistence, resilience, and consistency are what turns small beginnings into lasting success. Thank you for being here today. I hope you found this helpful. I will see you again next week, same time, same place.